What the fuck? There's a video of Jeremy Irons talking about Scar's sexuality. Well, if he better not say he's straight. House of Gucky?
Did you know there is a natural way to regrow teeth and gums that only 3% of the population
A
even
House
knows
of
about?
Gucky interview with
Jeremy
Mr. Irons.
The movie is House of Gucci.
They're pronouncing it wrong. What the fuck?
Great
Okay.
Jeremy Irons.
All right. So we're watching a video from Queer Tea TV. I didn't even know Jeremy Irons, Mr. Ron Jeremy Irons, was in House of Gucky, but here we are.
Irons. The movie is House of Gucci. Thank you so much for giving me a few minutes today.
I don't know why they're pronouncing it wrong.
It's an absolute delight to be able to speak with you.
It's great to talk to you, David.
Now, in the movie, you play Rodolfo Gucci. He's a sometime
Gucky.
movie actor and designer, the father of Maurizio Gucci, played by Adam Driver. And it was interesting to me in seeing the movie Wednesday night. Maurizio describes him as a man that's haunted, surrounded by ghosts. And
Sorry, what's the timestamp? I don't need to listen to this whole thing. Sorry, what is it? Is it too loud? 3 minutes? Volume's fine now? Okay.
A character, not judge it, not judge him. You may later, when you see the movie, think, well, he's not a very nice person, but at the time, you don't have those feelings.
So real quick, I've always wanted to ask you about Scar in The Lion King, possibly your most famous character.
Thank you.
Now, there have been scholarly essays and journals written on this subject, so I hope you can clear something up for us.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Many people have speculated that his frustration, his torture, comes from the fact that
I'm
he's
sorry, this
a
question's
closeted
fucking
gay lion.
stupid.
Right.
I'm wondering, first of all, was
Sorry.
this a thought that crossed your mind?
This is a fucking stupid... I get you're on QWERTY TV, I get it, but...
So I hope you can clear something up for us.
Yeah.
Like,
many people
he's the actor. He didn't write the... Whatever.
have speculated that his frustration, his torture, comes from the fact that he's a closeted gay lion.
A closeted gay... Imagine being Jeremy Irons right now, who, from previous interviews, doesn't even really like gay people anyway.
I'm wondering, first of all, was this a thought that crossed your mind when you were making the film? And in retrospect, do you see him as being a sort of coded queer character?
Never crossed my mind when making it, but seeing it, I have no doubt. He's a complete closet gay, and he's
Very nice.
miserable because he hasn't come out. And if only he would have.
See, this is the way to answer an interview question without getting canceled. He could say the exact opposite. He would be like, "There is no doubt in my mind that he would never be gay," and then all of a sudden he's canceled. He's learned from his last interviews. I forget what he said about gay marriage that was like a little sus, but he's definitely learned since then.
He's a complete closet gay, and he's miserable because he hasn't come out. And if only he would have done, the world would have been entirely different. He would have forgotten about, taking over the monarchy. He would have been happy in himself with his partner.
That is absolutely wonderful.
So yeah, I'm sorry, Jeremy Irons doesn't believe a word he's saying there, which is fine. This is one of those things where, like, if this was shared on the right subreddit, this would be like the new outrage. This would be like, why you gotta corrupt the children by being interviewed by somebody and answering the question that way. This is kind of funny. That was kind of funny. Thanks for showing me. At least we finally now, when people say that Scar doesn't love penis, I can show them this clip and say, "Nah, you were wrong." We've got it. We've got the proof now. We've finally done it. We've finally done it, everybody.
For you? I mean, last week the Supreme Court was hearing Defense of Marriage Act. Basically they're going to be deciding on gay marriage.
Man, I remember this guy.
We are in England.
Yeah.
I remember this guy for like completely shutting down some like crazy person. I don't remember who was the crazy person that he shut down. Oh yeah, there was like some nut job that was like trying to say that he shouldn't have an opinion because he's a white man or something. I don't remember. It was like really, really weird. It was one of those like 2015 YouTube videos that helped elect Donald Trump. It was one of those like things where it was like, okay, the SJWs have gone too far this time, and just people making themselves look really stupid on television and giving ammo to conservatives.
Things
Anyway.
like gay marriage for you? I mean, last week the Supreme Court was hearing Defence of Marriage Act. You know, basically they're going to be deciding on gay marriage this
Same
year.
as we are in England.
Yeah.
I don't know.
How far does it extend?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's a very interesting one, that, and I don't really have a strong feeling, but I see that what we had in England, which was, it was not marriage, but it was a union you could make if you were gay and you wanted to make a civil partnership.
Yeah, civil union sort of has the same rights as marriage, but
That's
not the
right.
name.
Same rights, not the name. And it seems to me that...
I've never, yeah, this is just, I mean, I don't know if he's evolved or if he's just learned to shut his mouth sort of thing. Like, I don't know if he, that was a moving noise from my computer. A file moved. I don't know if he evolved his position on this naturally. Like, it seemed like he got backlash and then was just like, oh, never mind, sort of thing. Like, I don't know. But it's always been kind of weird to me that that people, a considerable amount of people, especially more the further back in time you go, but even some still today, it's weird that people think that marriage is like this this thing that gets ruined if gay people can do it. They're like, no, you can't call it a marriage. That makes my marriage worse. Like, that's the weirdest thing I've ever heard. It's like, what is it? Like, how fragile is your straight marriage if it means less when gay people are doing it? Like, what? Ah, shit, my marriage just got ruined because two people I don't know got married that aren't the right gender. Oh, okay.
But now they're fighting for the name, and I worry that it means somehow we debase or we change what marriage is. I just worry about that.
He's a very silly man. You can it's so funny because he you can tell how unconfident he is when he's saying this too. Or at least it seems like he understands that there will be some pushback, but it also seems like he hasn't really thought this position out. It seems like he's just kind of saying, you know, speaking from his gut, just being like, oh, this is how I feel about it. But I don't think he's actually, like, this isn't like a position that he worked his way up to, you know. This was kind of like a feeling, and then he's justifying backwards from that feeling.
I mean, tax-wise is an interesting one because, you see, could a father not marry his son?
Could a father not marry his daughter? Like, what? I don't know what you're saying. It's so, the arguments fall apart so quickly with like no effort. It's just so clear that it's coming from like an emotional, like this weird. Human beings, Jeremy Irons included, human beings fucking everywhere. Like, we exist in a way where in order to function on a day-to-day basis, we have to have some parts of our brain that are like, oh yeah, this is like a certainty. Like, this is just how the world works. And then you just never question it. And then like 40 years go by more. You're like getting older, the world's changing, and all of these things that you considered to be like hard certainties are now under question. You've been living with those parts of your brain for a long time when younger people haven't lived with those parts of their brains for as long. So there isn't as much that they're, you know, it's not like as much of an entire shift on worldview or like shattering someone's reality when it's a younger person, but when it's an older person, it's like, holy, everything in my life sort of thing, you know, like, I don't know. It's a weird, it doesn't even have to be about gay people, although sexual taboos are going to elicit much more rigid emotional responses in people, much more instinctual. I'm not thinking about it. This is just the way things are, and I won't allow myself to actually critically question things. Like sexual taboos are always going to have that response with people. So, in particular, but yeah, it doesn't even have to be a sexual taboo.
Well, there are laws against incest.
It's not incest between men.
What? I forgot this. That's a great quote. It's not incest between men. What? That's an amazing quote. Man, I feel bad for Jeremy because he's totally not prepared to have this conversation. Oh, what a fucking idiot.
Incest is there to protect us from having inbreeding. But men
To protect us from inbreeding? So it's not incest if you can't get pregnant, is what he's saying.
inbreeding. But men don't breed, therefore so incest wouldn't cover that. Now, if that was
What? This is the silly. It's so weird. It's so weird how people can say things that, like, if they were to think about it just for like 2 seconds, they'd realize, like, that doesn't make any fucking sense what I just said. But it's weird that, like, there's entire structures happening in people's minds that are like holding up these weird ass beliefs where they don't examine the structure. They don't examine the stability of their beliefs, you know?
was so, then if I wanted to pass on my estate without death duties, I could marry my son and pass on my estate to him.
No, that sounds like a total red herring. I'm sure that incest law would still cover same-sex marriages.
Really? Why?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Jeremy, you're so crazy.
Because I don't think that incest law is only justified on the basis of the consequences for procreation. I think there's also a moral approbation that's associated with incest.
But I think it comes from
Yeah, it probably
worry
does
about
originally.
inbreeding.
Yeah.
A moral approbation. I mean, I think the lawyers are going to have a field day.
Like, what's weird is a lot of the times when when these kind of I'm so tired. I'm looking for the right words here. A lot of the times when these like moral high ground kind of we're trying to protect the children positions try to justify themselves in people's minds. Like he's like, no, we're not doing gay marriage, you know, like probably coming from some sort of like moral place to, you know, be like, oh, I'm trying to help people and I'm worried this will lead to bad places sort of thing. And then over time it just winds up being justified with like the most weird ass immoral shit ever where it's like, okay, well, wait. Are you saying that incest between son and father isn't wrong? Are you suggesting that there's no issues with it because they can't, like, it doesn't even sound like he's saying like just from a legal standpoint, which I mean, how could he be? Because he clearly hasn't read the law on incest if he thinks same-gendered incest doesn't apply. Like if he thinks that the law is written that way, like he clearly hasn't read it, right? So like he has to be talking from like a moral position here. Like, oh yeah, like it's not, incest is only wrong if you can get pregnant. Okay.
Incest.
But I think it comes from
Yeah, it probably
worry
does
about
originally.
inbreeding.
Yeah.
A moral approbation. I mean, I think the lawyers are going to have a field day with same-sex marriage. I just guess they are. I don't have a strong feeling either way. I mean,
So Jeremy Irons thinks that Scar and Simba, all the male characters from The Lion King fucking, it's not incest, which is good news for me, actually. So
with same-sex marriage. I just guess they are. I don't have a strong feeling either way. I mean, I just wish everybody who's living with one other person the best of luck in the world because it's fantastic. And
Spoken like a happily married man.
Yeah, and also a man who has a dog that he loves. You know, I mean, living with another animal, whether it be a husband or a dog, is great. You know, it's lovely to have someone to love. I don't think
Okay, so yeah, this is a...
or a dog is
Man.
yeah, and also a man who has a dog that he loves. You know, I mean, living with another animal, whether it be a husband or a dog, is great. You know, it's lovely to have someone to love. I don't think sex matters at all. What it's called, I don't think matters at all.
You heard it here first. Jeremy Irons is going to marry his dog. This is truly groundbreaking news.
Okay.
Hey guys, it's December 2021, so let's update the Patreon credits. My top patrons are Wholesome 100 Big Chunkus Lemonade Warrior, Bakewell from Robust Animated Movie, Charisma S, The Super One Player, Dwyer Tarantino, Jacob Arndt, Zachary Kane, Sam Joel, Cheat.exe, Gothic Sith, Mandel Bro, Kel Hunt, Wales, Bo the Doggo, Kai Butcher, Splat, Hoofy Doe, Ocean Machinery, and Malav Shah. Hope you enjoyed the video and happy holidays.